When we think of most professionals, we consider them as individuals who genuinely want to help the human race and have particular skills and knowledge in specialized areas to help us do that. Traditionally, we put our trust in these kinds of people and hope that they're able to guide us in their own way. This kind of relationship is the basis for every industry and profession that we have. People dedicate their lives to helping and contributing in their own way and hope that this is enough. But this relationship over the years has been eroding. These days have, shall we say, massive distrust towards politicians and police officers for entirely valid reasons. Others don't trust doctors, scientists, or even reality itself. But one particular area that I don't see a lot of distrust towards is rich self-help gurus. I mean, I know this industry is kind of a joke and a hot mess when you spend time actually looking at it, but I don't really see a whole lot of outrage towards some of the top people of the industry. Hell, people are still cheering on Mel Robbins despite her being like every other rich self-help guru, with the slight exception of the fact that she is offering little tidbits of information, then making wild and bold claims.
Damn, that's crazy. It's actually crazy. That's messed up.
I'm not saying we should be marching on to these people's mansions with pitchforks and torches or anything like that, but rather talk about this particular aspect, because in all seriousness, rich self-help gurus were never wanting you to succeed or to help you in any way. And talking about why they truly don't want to can be a gateway for us to genuinely grow and improve our lives. So here is at least my theory as to why rich self-help gurus don't want to help people like me and you. One of the first things you'll notice about a rich self-help guru is the fact that they don't really mix up their strategy all that much. Mel Robbins has her podcast and her books. Tony Robbins has his closed-door seminars, which aren't creepy at all, as well as his own books. Tai Lopez has a multitude of courses that he throws at people all the time. And the list goes on and on. On one end, I get why they don't really mix things up. You shouldn't mess with something that is clearly working for you already. Beyond that, I'm not expecting them to continuously make up new streams of income at every possible opportunity here. But you'd think that if they already have a vast amount of wealth from doing this one thing, that they would branch off into a few other different things. They'd make adjustments to their existing products and services. They'd be a little more selfless in the process too. They'd keep growing in other areas of their lives and sharing what they know.
Of course. How selfish of me. Let's do all the things that you want to do.
When looking at their lives, you don't really see much of that at all. And in some cases, a lot of that is still very much self-enriching. For example, Tai Lopez offers all kinds of courses on how to be making money and make a thriving business out of the latest trends. Some of it can be very helpful, but I'd rather focus on the investment firm that he is running on with his buddy Alex Murr. You know what would be cool for Tai to do? If he opened up a portfolio for you and put a portion of the money that you paid him for his courses into that, and gave you access to that. While you're applying the lessons that he's giving you, you're already making dividends off the money that is in his firm. But that's not happening. Instead, he just offers courses on how to be selling something after asking for hundreds of dollars he clearly doesn't need, especially if the aforementioned investing firm can afford to buy a few companies. The list goes on, but I find it odd how the rich self-help guru gets all of his wealth by offering assistance, but aren't using a portion of that wealth to invest even more back into their base, let alone try to change the formula or offer something new or unique to people after a while. If they're not willing to invest more into their base after having all of this money that they've extracted from people, it's fair to say that they're not overly concerned about trying to learn specific situations and problems and help people. They're not truly willing to work with you beyond you paying them for whatever it is that they're trying to give you.
taxes, beautiful, lovely taxes.
This is also in conjunction with the cookie cutter formula that they use all the time, and the fact that it's all just very bare bones. As I've talked about across multiple videos, assuming people are in the precise situation is a bad basis to offer solutions from, because people have all kinds of unique situations. I'm not expecting perfection from the gurus at every single opportunity, as I've stressed plenty of times before. But we should expect that gurus are at least willing to offer multiple avenues and options to people. That they're not just assuming every single problem of a particular nature needs a specific solution, and that it's solved by doing that.
Now, you know what they say about assuming. It makes an ass out of you and Ming.
Hi, I'm Ming, and I really don't appreciate what your assumptions have done to my reputation.
But the problem is that rich self-help gurus think exactly like that. They assume all depression is just the big sads. They assume that poor finances means that you're just bad at budgeting. They assume every single problem you face can be solved with a particular system that they've created last night. They're not really willing to offer real solutions to you beyond encouraging you to buy their next course or a particular product that they have, that they're associated with, which is the problem here. This also starts to become more apparent when we consider the use of the constant hype tactics that they employ. I've talked about this before as well, and how these motivational tactics tend to make people feel more than they actually are helpful for people. It plays on our emotions and assumes that our problems are simple and straightforward and can be easily solved by pulling yourself up by your bootstraps, when in reality our problems are far more nuanced. If you fail or run into roadblocks, it's all your fault for being in that situation, and it's your responsibility to fix it, is the general norm of these hype tactics, and they just don't work. They're not healthy. It's telling that rich self-help gurus lean into these kinds of tactics over and over and over again, rather than providing anything different or talking about the root issues of these particular problems like I do. After all, we're not entirely responsible for our own situations. Some of it is just these external things that are going on without our control and are shaping particular systems that are oppressive.
Reason number 2. Look what I can do.
What? What does that have to do with anything?
No. He's got a point.
Instead, what we get are just buzzwords as well as hopeful aspirations. We're sold on the idea that their strategies will change our lives forever, or that they'll have this one trick that will absolutely blow your mind, only to be left with utter disappointment after we realize what these are. They're pseudoscience junk, or nothing science, or they're sworn in by paid actors or just random people that they have paid to say these kinds of things, or it's based entirely on what is already available online for free, and you didn't have to spend thousands of dollars or hundreds of dollars to get access to that. I'm not expecting every single solution that comes from a guru to be innovative or entirely unique every single time. But I find that when someone is relying specifically on hype tactics all of the time, they're using it more to entertain people rather than to be actually helpful and growing individuals. Not that self-help shouldn't be fun or anything, but I'm just saying, how about we try to do both of these things?
¿Por qué no los dos?
All of this becomes apparent when we consider the final aspect that they have to offer us just doesn't work. But what about people that have improved their lives from the seminars and courses, you might ask? I won't deny that some people other than rich self-help gurus have benefited from rich self-help gurus' tactics. But it's similar to saying that a broken clock is right twice per day. The track record of many rich self-help gurus leaves a lot to be desired. A good example of this is looking at Robert Kiyosaki. In a now-defunct show by ABC, financial guru Robert Kiyosaki was once given a challenge: help 3 people with $1,000 start up a profitable business in 20 days. If you're not familiar with Robert Kiyosaki at all, he's the author behind one of the most successful financial aid books of all time, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. He went on from there to write multiple books offering his financial savvy and expertise and running a very successful business in the process. He even wrote a book with his idol, Donald Trump. Surely this man who knows a lot about finances, making sound business strategies, and has years of experience operating his own business can help a handful of people start a solid business that they could build up over time. It all ended in failure. One person lost all of their money, another broke even, and the last one made a small profit.
Do you think maybe he's compensating for something?
All the while, these 3 participants stated that Kiyosaki was next to useless, complaining about the tight deadline, among many other things. While Kiyosaki isn't exactly a self-help guru, these sorts of outcomes aren't so different from a lot of other gurus. Behind closed doors, gurus with their vast experiences and knowledge aren't really driven to help the average person. The extent of the usefulness of a guru goes as far as a planned program or a blanket statement will take all things that require minimal effort from the guru to push now that it has been created. And in the moment when you receive genuine and direct guidance and fork over thousands of dollars, you're left with very little to go off. To reiterate, I'm not expecting absolute perfection from rich self-help gurus. I'm not expecting these rich self-help gurus to give away everything for free to solve every single world problem all on their own. I'm simply of the mind that if you can afford to help other people, which they clearly do, you will put in an honest effort to do so without putting too much of your well-being at risk, especially when being part of an industry that is meant to help struggling individuals through life. It's weird how, out of an industry that encourages selflessness, a lot of the rich self-help gurus are not so different from cult leaders, appreciating the applause and praise but keeping most people at arm's length and offering nothing genuinely helpful to ascend or improve people's lives. It doesn't really create a very healthy community for people to be in. Unfortunately, there's not much that can be really done about this or to change these individuals. The only real change that we can really do is to change ourselves in how we see these individuals. Stop attending their events, stop buying their courses, and find guidance in other avenues. For sure, it is a lot tougher of a road to walk on, but there are voices like myself that are worth following. They're buried deep and you have to actually look around for them. And for me, as I continue to foster this community, as I continue to record these videos and post them, I believe that we can all help one another grow and ease some of the burden, so long as we're willing to be working together to make things happen and genuinely improve our lives. And that's all I have to say. Thank you guys so much for watching the entirety of this video. I would really appreciate it if you left a like on this video and also to subscribe to my channel for more videos like this in the future.